Hey, this is John Bohlinger with Premier Guitar. When I'm not doing rig rundowns or gear reviews, I am writing this column called Last Call, which is sponsored by our good friends at Keeley. I'm a huge Keeley fan, and I'm grateful that they're sponsoring the column, and I'm grateful for this amazing gear. Coming in, my Mando was going through a Zoma for that rich verb and a little bit of the halo, and this new halo I'm really excited about. Anyway, thanks Keeley. Now, I've got my buddy Chris Keys here. Let's talk about some Last Call stuff. Chris, you look good with the mandolin.
Yeah, this is the first time I think I've ever held one.
Yeah, well,
So I'll be kind to the Weber.
Yeah, you're a natural.
I can tell. So what's this column about?
Well, I chose the mandolin because this is about the column called Rachmaninoff or Rock Your Socks Off. I get it, kind of a corny title, but I'm talking about when I started music, it was through the public school system. My parents insisted that every kid take lessons, and they were free lessons through the school. So I played violin, and that really was my introduction into the whole thing. And although I was horrible, and I can't imagine how bad it sounded, it really hooked me. I mean, to be in an orchestra and hear like people making music all around you, it is a powerful
How long were you in the orchestra?
Oh God, my parents tortured me with it from 4th grade and through 9th grade.
Okay.
When I got into high school, I was able to quit, but by then guitar had taken over, and I did not care about violin.
Did any of your siblings go longer than that, or were you the longest tenured musician?
No. They lasted like 2 or 3 years tops. Yeah, yeah. But I stuck with it. I'm a lifer.
Yeah. So what did you pull from that, and like kind of what you wrote about in this column?
Well, I have such immense respect for classical musicians, but I know our tribe are guitar players. And the hardest working guitar players I know, I mean, people that have like really put in the hours. Mm-hmm. I mean, and if you're a great guitar player, you know, so many of the guys we do rig rundowns with they are the top tier players, and they get in their 10,000 hours early, and then they build on that, and it is a huge, huge commitment. But even the most committed guitar player is a relative slack compared to classical players.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible because classical players, in the column, and I hope you read it, but I went on I did some internet sleuthing to see how much people practice.
Yeah.
And on these forums, first of all, guitar players didn't even respond because we don't care.
Yeah.
but the classical players that did respond, that work with different orchestras around the world, they routinely will put in, there's violinists who will put in 8 hours a day. Like, and these guys,
wow,
these guys go like every day. Even they'll come back from a rehearsal with their orchestra and still put in another couple hours before that, and a couple hours to warm up for
I wonder how that can become obviously a time commitment, but how that time commitment can still blossom some love for the instrument and the craft and the creation of the art form, because that's a grind.
Oh man. But there's something about, and all of you know, there's something about practicing when you really get in it, when you get past, I think everybody kind of hates the work, but once you get in it and it takes over, it's kind of like a meditation high, like a yoga high, like any of that stuff, like a runner's high. Mm-hmm. You get in it and it does take over. So but I could not imagine that kind of commitment. And they go every day. When I mentioned this in the column, but there was Robert Martin is a great musician I worked with. He worked with Zappa back in the day, and Stevie Nicks and all these people. And we were on tour together, and we were in Europe, and I'd go out all day and just do Europe. We're in Venice. I am seeing everything, and Robert would lock himself in a room with his French horn every day and play.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, And it was somewhere between a compulsion and
Yeah.
and just a very loving commitment to his craft.
Man, is there any crossover do you see in terms of, obviously you've mentioned the guitar players that really dig in. We were off camera talking about a guy like Bukovac
Yeah.
or Rob McAnally that
Yeah.
they punch in like we do to, do our job
Yeah.
9 to 5. They're playing guitar.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure, Book's got his internet,
Yeah.
his YouTube channel, so he's playing guitar at night too.
Yeah.
It's like there's dedication on the guitar side too.
Oh, absolutely.
But not as that is. I don't want to say militant because that's a negative connotation,
Yeah.
but they are dialed in. There's a lot of discipline.
Incredible discipline. And like guitar players, when we're playing, like I know I'll get home from a gig and I'll play, I will.
Yeah.
And I know Book, I think his whole kind of channel spun from the fact that he just plays all the time.
Yeah.
And Bonamassa, watch his Instagram, he just plays. That's what you do. But guitar players, we play whatever the hell we want.
Yeah.
I mean, in the column I talk about it, but there's like a trombonist that works with a major metropolitan orchestra, and she will read trombone parts and that's mainly just counting spaces. I mean, could you imagine like da 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 da? I mean, it's like
Just waiting for your pockets.
yeah, just waiting for you. And how do you even how? I mean, I could not. That just sounds like torture.
Yeah. And that's also in the idea of being serving the greater good of the composition.
Absolutely. And they whereas guitar players are revered for our own style. When you can put your own mark on it.
Yeah.
That when somebody can say, oh, that sounds like Bonamassa, or that sounds like Vince Gill or whoever, take your pick. We revere them for that. But with classical musicians, there's this, for the vast majority, it's absolute anonymity, and they are revered for interpreting, for not even interpreting, for just reproducing what the composer came up with. They as one artist put it, said what we do, we interpret the depth of it. Like if I'm playing a forte, I want it to be like forte, like raise the roof. Or if I'm playing this PP, I can't remember the Italian term, anyway, a PP. Said I want it to be just so spine tingling, subtle that you have to lean in, and it's the depth of the color is what they go for. Which, hey, again, I have such respect, and I'm so glad that somebody can do it, but our tribe is wired so differently.
Yeah, it's in terms of using the coloring metaphor, is that people are encouraged to color outside the lines.
Absolutely.
Or celebrated for it.
Oh, you look at everybody's. I think if you interviewed the majority, if you asked most guitar players of all the greats, who's the one that really gets you? Jeff Beck keeps coming up because he was so. He nothing bound that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd play slide with his right hand up here. I mean, like he just would try everything. Yeah, he would do he came up with stuff that I couldn't even imagine. So, and that's it. We're revered for your imagination, for coming up with something.
Yeah, it's what sparks or continues to spark everything that everyone's chasing.
Yeah.
Whether it's sonic or technique.
Yeah, and I think it's also, I don't know. Okay, look at when we do these gear reviews, and I'll write a track. Now, I did one the other day with Perry, and I'm playing it, and when I'm playing, I'm thinking, God, this is kind of complex changes. why the hell didn't I like practice this and come up with something? But I just don't. I just like to see where it goes, even if it's wrong.
Yeah.
I just like to see.
So you'll take a wrong turn.
Oh, all the time. Listen back to this. Listen back to that classical piece. There's some wrong turns. but I don't mind the wrong turns. I think that it's like Miles Davis said, don't fear mistakes, there are none. And everywhere your finger goes, your fingers land, is just an opportunity leading you to something else.
Yeah, but you did that in an orchestra, you're gone.
Exactly.
Your chair's vacant.
Oh God, right. That was what was so nerve-wracking about orchestra. I mean, number one, I'm a child, but they were like, okay, one of the violins, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh God, and I have to play it in front of everybody, and it's horrible. Yeah, terrifying.
It's funny how we're able to still look back on those times that seem so far away, but shudder in fear.
Talking about it right now, I feel the sweat breaking. You can probably see sweat breaking out my forehead. Think of my orchestra teacher calling me out.
Let's get out of here then. Well, John, thanks. I know people always enjoy these videos. This was fun.
Oh yeah, thanks, buddy. Till next time, Chris. You look good to that mandolin, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.